Hey, you're with TheEZGZ, and I figured I better document this. Here I am on the side of the road, and been driving great the whole trip, and all of a sudden I got gas and she died. That's kind of a sick feeling. There wasn't really a good spot to pull off, but I got it over off to the side of the road here. Turned out what happened is I'm running an electric fuel pump because that other engine didn't have provision for a fuel pump, and you're supposed to mount the fuel pump under the gas tank, so I did up in front. And when I switched to this other engine, I just decided to stick with the electric fuel pump. Now luckily I did leave the factory pump on this engine, and I could have probably switched that over, but as it turned out I did a little troubleshooting and I wasn't getting power down to the pump. At first I thought it was the pump, but it turned out it was just electrical, and wire got separated or something. The fuse is still good, and I'll have it just load my stuff back up and be back on the road. But I thought, you know, what the heck, got to document everything on this trip, and that's what happens when you take a 50-year-old car on the road. Heck, that happens with a new car. Look at all the cars you see on the back in the swing on a tow truck going down the highway. So hopefully that's the end of my experiences, and we're back on the road. We're on the Asabu River outside Osceola, along the west shore of Lake Huron. I've been driving for a few hundred miles and I'm tired, and I've got the facility right here to camp with. I thought I'd run down by the river and wet my wheel. It's kind of a tradition with me wherever I go. So that being done, I'm gonna see if I can get myself settled in for the night. I got all my camping stuff so I can have a hot meal. It's a little early in the day, and maybe I'll just find a spot to take a nap. I gotta find a pay station or something. This is a state park, and we're on the whirlpool. Now if I can just find my way out of here. Oops, I don't think this was the right way. Looked like a Colorado trail or an Oregon trail. I have no idea where I am. I got this little Garmin thing. Let me turn that on. I'm just curious to see what it would do in this kind of a situation. Agree? Yeah, I'll agree to anything. Oh, what is this? Camping permit required. Okay. Where do I get my camping permit? I'll pay. This is fun. It's my little four-wheel drive Baja. It shows a trail and it shows me going back to the highway, so let's see what happens. Is this a pull out or is it a... Oh, that looked nice. Man. You know, it's one of those deals where how am I supposed to find a pay station? I didn't drive through a gate.
In 1/2 mile, turn right on East River Road, then take the first right.
Oh, this is cool. Little fire pit back here. It's definitely a designated camping area. I saw that 101 someplace else. What do you think, guys? Shoot, I could just nestle back in the trees a little bit here. Be pretty easy to miss me. It's quiet. Along the coast. Yeah, along the coast it was pretty windy and noisy. But, camping permit required. For more information. Well, I'm not going to be here that long. What do you think, guys? You know, I left my brother's house this morning. His wife, Mary, was all concerned, you know, be careful, be safe on the road. And she packed me a turkey sandwich and some apples and some cheese. And I'm sitting here in the woods in the Baja. I can hear tire noise in the difference from a highway, but it's a lot less windy here out in the forest. And I'm surrounded by trees, and I just feel totally safe. I'm gonna have a nap, maybe spend the night here. I didn't see a pay station. There's a little fire ring here, so I know there's something. We're kind of off season, but I just want to thank the good Lord, our Father, our Creator, for finding this spot for me and taking me to it and allowing me to find it. Maybe that would be a better term. He knew what I wanted and he gave it to me, and I appreciate it. It's a beautiful day. I hope your day's going well wherever you are. I know if you watch my channel you enjoy doing the same things I do. This is the ultimate adventure. Being like 1,400 miles from home, out in the woods, someplace you've never been before, with a car that you've pretty much taken apart, put back together. And you know, you get nervous, but my concealed carry permit is good here. I got my firearm with me. It's legal here. They reciprocate for the Colorado concealed carry permit. I don't know, it might be a false sense of security, but you don't have to worry about bears and stuff like that. So I just wanted Mary to know that I appreciate it. That turkey sandwich is really good. I think I'll have that turkey sandwich. Been driving for a few hours. Maybe I'll take a little nap. Been getting down in the 30s, but nestled in here in the trees might not be so bad. The other... Oh, wasp! You can't have my turkey sandwich. Leave me alone. Being by this lake, Huron, that's an ocean. That's not a lake. That's an ocean. Even though the air temp might get 30 degrees, the water temperature isn't that cold, and the wind is blowing across the water. Generally, humid air will feel a little cooler than dry air, but I don't think it's going to get that cold. And you can tell by looking at the trees around here, they haven't really got bit hard enough to start completely changing. When they do, it'll happen fast. But I'm pretty sure it has already had its first frost, because it did down there in the Detroit area. So anyhow, I'm just hanging out, enjoying the day. Alright, there's a little road, not too often traveled, or that's rained since it was used last. I suspect some hunters might come back here. I've heard some gunshots. I put some branches there to kind of break up the side of the Volkswagen, and I kind of parked it back in the tree. And I did same thing from the other side. This road's a little more well-traveled, and that's the way I came in. So I went back here and I got some brush. I might go back and get some more, see what I can find, and that's just to break it up in case I like to be unnoticed. The headlights would be a problem. They're pretty bright, and I don't want to make it up against the car. If I need to make a fast getaway, I can just kind of lean this up against the trees here to break up that side colors. And not doing anything I shouldn't be, illegal or nothing. It is a campsite, and I don't know where the heck you go to pay. It says to go online. I don't know if you get a permit or something. And what I've done now is I've taken those seat cushions and stacked them underneath, and then I've got my extension board there, and then the board that went over the seat, and I've got several layers of padding. Here's a couple of foam pads plus the all the other stuff, and it's fairly level. This way I can completely lay out flat. I won't be able to plug in that electric heater, and I didn't bring a propane one, but I think it shouldn't get too cold. And if it is, you know, maybe I'll just be rested and hit the road. All I got to do is move this stuff up and back, and then put the cooler back down there on the footwell, and she's ready to roll. So, like I say, I got some firepower, and that way I'm off the ground. I'm locked up inside a metal deal. Don't have to worry about animals. I wish I knew more about mushrooms. There's these mushrooms, different kinds of mushrooms, all over this place. I certainly wouldn't experiment with them like this, especially when I have food. But it'd be something to research more before you come into an area. And I think I'm gonna settle down here for an afternoon nap. I've got a shovel in case I have to go to the bathroom. I've got not really an axe, it's more like a machete. Oh, I don't know. Maybe some of you guys would call it a survival knife, but I could if I wanted to. I don't think I do. I don't want to draw any more attention to myself than I am. But this is K-bar. It's a pretty big knife for whacking brush, and I suppose you could do some of the things that you see the guys on knife channels doing. I thought it would make a nice, you'd want more than one, and with this setup it does come with more than one. I think there's a smaller one in here. Let's see what we can find. There's a lighter. And I got some paracord. Oh, here it is. I knew I had a smaller one. Okay, so you got this smaller K-bar, and that is pretty utilitarian. And so if you want something razor sharp for fine work, you got that. If you want to do some bigger brush work, small branches, kindling, prepping wood for fire, a little bit of chopping, I wouldn't get carried away with it. You don't have to in dense forest like this. So much of this stuff is so dry laying on the ground, and all you'd have to do is snap it and break it up. Put it in a fire pit, and I have some gasoline, that 3-liter can that I carry in the front trunk, and I would just start it with something like that, so it would be instantaneous. And then you could put some bigger pieces in it and but I'm not so much into having a fire when I'm by myself if I'm not cooking. Dry camping is mostly what we do in Colorado. We have pine forests. See, I don't see a single solitary pine tree. That's what's missing. There's no pine trees. Ha! I did not realize that until I just said it. But you have to be careful because of the dry pine. It catches fire pretty easy. And we don't have any of that here. Holy smokes. I don't see any pine trees. That's interesting. Got enough water. Oh well. Yeah. So anyhow, just wanted to show you my setup here. And I have the option of getting comfortable. And if the ranger comes through and says you gotta pay or move, we'll debate that. And then I'll be moving on anyhow. So there you have it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subbing. TheEZGZ. Ow.